particular art skill that you keep telling yourself that you're going to one day actually sit down and take real time to practice it because you know that it's a skill that would level up your art a lot, but you keep putting it off because you're low-key intimidated by the subject? Oh my goodness! Me too! Twinsies! For me, the most notorious skill when it comes to this is perspective, particularly when it comes to the human body and poses. Perspective is basically the skill that is at the top of my should study list, because I think it would upgrade my art the most from learning it more than any other skill by itself. I've really struggled to find the motivation to finally tackle this topic head on. Then I realized, oh yeah, I haven't uploaded anything to YouTube for a while, so screw it, you're being subjected to my experiments. So the end goal of this study was to find a method of drawing figures in perspective that I could easily apply to my own style and my own characters. To do this, I wanted to break down the study into multiple digestible, holy, that's a hard word to say, steps. What seemed reasonable enough to me was to start by just studying the head first, see if I have success, and then repeat that process for the entire body. So, here's the steps for both halves. 1. Technique replication. Pick a technique and copy other people's examples of using just the technique by itself. 2. Technique application. Look at photos of real people and try to break them down into smaller shapes using the techniques. 3. Style implementation. Do the same thing as step 2, but now draw the full figure. 4. Imagination. Use everything learned so far to come up with angles and poses from the little old brain. With that out of the way, let's get to... The technique I picked for the heads was the classic, the Loomis method. It works for a lot of people, and I presumed it would work for me. This way of breaking down the head is pretty simple, so doing the first 2 steps of my process went by very smoothly. Like, I am just sitting here drawing heads. Go crazy, go stupid. And then I crashed into the wall that was step 3. The problem was less with step 3 itself, and rather because of another aspect of this study that I was doing, one that I didn't tell you about before, and that's digital sketching. Sketching is like the one step of the drawing process that I always do traditionally, but I've been meaning to get more comfortable sketching digitally too. I've tried my best not to zoom in on the canvas, so that way I don't get too obsessed over small details. Think big picture, you know? The problem came when I had to attempt to draw realism for step 3. I knew that trying to do that, plus the extra struggle of sketching digitally, would lead to unnecessary frustration. So, for this part I just drew on paper like this. Yeah, no time lapse for this. But here they are. They look jank. I can't think of the last time I tried to draw a person realistically, so that's part of it. I wasn't satisfied with these, so I went off script and redrew every single face here, but did so in my own style, and it looked like this. Gee, these look so much better. The expressions are actually readable. This ended up replacing the imagination step that I lined out, but that's fine. Looking back at this first phase, my one regret is that I could have studied some more extreme angles. But if it's more extreme angles you're looking for, we'll find that when we take a crack at. This time, I really wanted to make sure that the perspective technique— are you tired of the word technique yet? I'm not. Technique. So, we're gonna break down the body into squares, spheres, and cylinder things, just like this. Wow. Replicating this went suspiciously well. Like, the first 3 poses I copied were looking so good that I jumped to the next phase instead of drawing 2 more. Applying this technique to photos of real-life people also went well. Huh. I then took a couple of those poses and drew my OCs on top of them, and... oh dear. Why they look like that? The one on the left has wonkiness that makes sense. The pose I was using as reference had a person wearing baggy jeans that obscured the shape of the leg, so I understand my struggle there. But look at how I massacred my boy! For reference, my OC Ash is supposed to look like this. The obvious problem was that I was using references of real people for the body construction and then not adjusting the proportions afterwards to be more accurate to the proportions of my characters. I forgot the style in the style implementation step. Whoops. So I drew another 3 poses with my Gooby OC's usual proportions in mind, and surprise, surprise, I have no visceral reaction to these. The study finishes here. I think extra art jump scare. I made the impulsive decision to apply all I've learned into one more finished drawing. I wanted to play around with some sketchy textures anyway. This was supposed to be a more extreme top-down view of these guys, but whatever. Did I learn anything from this? I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Sorta. So I think now that I've tried some perspective techniques, I feel I can continue to use them for more projects without being worried about wasting time drawing something that I fear will always look bad no matter what I do. I think dynamic perspective is one of those things that can really upgrade the composition, emotion, and visual interest in my art. So I'm rubbing my hands together like an evil little guy, waiting for the opportunity to apply this to my work once again. If you want to try this process, do it. I think I'd do this 4-step list again for other art studies. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this mess of a video. Subscribe if you want, and sleep well. Bye bye.